Hi, this is a quick video to show what I've been up to these days. What you're looking at is a recoil spring or a track tension spring for a Caterpillar 951 bucket loader, track loader. The goal is to compress this spring by several inches and put a bolt through it to hold it compressed until I get it in the machine where it's going to hold the front idler out and keep the tracks tight. I can take this to Caterpillar and they'll charge me $800 to do 2 of them, or I can try to do it myself, which is what this thing is. And not that I want to kill myself, but it's a challenge. So what this is an old oxygen cylinder from, I guess, the 1920s that I had laying around. I cut the back of it out. It's almost an inch thick on the bottom. And I'm going to put a pilot in back here, and this pilot in at the other end of the spring, slide it in a tube. I'll have 4 of these threaded rods welded on. I'm going to use this old railroad tie plate. I have another heavier plate if this doesn't work, and I'm going to try and pull it all together. And when it finally, when it compresses about 7 inches, then this thread right here will be sticking out the back over here, and I'll put a nut on it, and that'll hold it and keep it from exploding. So I only have to compress that about 7 inches in order to be able to do that. So let's see what happens. I'm going to take this pipe here and weld it to the back pilot to act as a guide for this. And you'll see how it progresses. Should be fun. Okay, so here we are. I'm reiterating that this is a spring compressor designed to compress that spring, which is a track spring for a Cat 951C, and I made this out of an oxygen cylinder, 3/4 or 1 inch, actually 3/4 inch threaded rod, a tie plate from the railroad, and all welded together. The base of the oxygen cylinder is huge, almost an inch thick, and I welded these guide tubes onto the rear pilot to guide this bolt as it goes together, because I won't be able to see it when it's in the compressor. And all I really have to do is compress this thing, I don't know, 6-7 inches, and I'll be able to get a nut on back here. And next step is to get the new bolts, which are coming in a day or two, and try this thing out. Can't wait. I'm psyched. Okay, here it is with the spring. I'm going to stuff that sucker in there. Just for reference, these are 1 1/8" bolts, nuts I mean, right there. And I got to get this in there that much. So it's got to get all the way in the tube. I think it can get all the way in the tube. I hope so. Hope I didn't make a mistake. But we'll see. I have to get it down at least 7 inches. I may have forgot to take into consideration that here. But let's see what happens. One. It's going to take a while. I'm going to lay this down after a while. Probably strap it to a pallet when it gets a little closer. But so far there's really not much strain on the nuts at all. Well, that's the process. I want to do some measuring. I'll be back. Check this out. Here it is getting shorter, a couple of inches shorter. To give you an idea, I'm not pulling very hard, and these bolts are turning. But on the other end, the shaft is threaded, and I put this bolt in. It's not a strong bolt. It's not a grade 8. I wish it was. But look. Watch when I tighten this up. This is pulling the bolt out. So I'll give it a couple of good tugs on this wrench. One more. Okay. That's not really pulling hard on it either. Now look at this. Oops, like butter. It totally, that little bolt totally takes the pressure off of these. So I was kind of worried, but I'm not. So more later. I just got back from Tractor Supply. my safety bolt I was getting a little bit nervous of, because it's like low grade crap steel. So I picked up an assortment of grade 8s, and they seem to, even the crappy ones seem to be pulling the spring in, even though it seems like there's a lot of tension on this. So I want to see what this one's going to do. So I put a stack of washers on there, and maybe if you could see in there, you could see the bolt that holds the whole thing together is not that far away. Let's see what happens. Anything here? I thought maybe it would bear the brunt of it, but I guess not. Let's see. Well, it's a lot looser. Alright, good. I feel safe. Gonna keep going. Man, there's enough pressure on this thing to shoot Hugo Zucchini across Madison Square Garden and back again. I finally got the bolt sticking out. And I can put the big one on. The threads, I mean. These things helped a lot, these bolts. Although I snapped one because I put too much pressure on it. But you can see the washers, grade 8 washers, just freaking melt. I don't know if I could use a washer yet. Can I get that on there? Yes, okay. Can I get this wrench on there? Slightly. Alright, I'm going to work on that. And it's going together, slowly but surely. Man, there's some pressure. Man, I'm tired. I got one done. There's the tail right there. And there's the spring inside there. It's tight. Sucker is tight. So now I can take this one apart and get ready for the next one. Just to get an idea of compressed versus uncompressed. Well, here's my size 12 boot in the picture. That's size 12 boot, spring. Back in 951 land, I never tried this before. This setup, generator, welder, connected like this. Out in the field, I have to weld these little tabs on here, these little blocks. So let me get this thing running. If it wants to run. Choke. difficult than the other side. There it is. Like a baby. I screwed up. I put this thing together, this piston together, and I forgot to put these adjusters, a grease fitting and a relief valve that go in these holes right in here. And it has this cutout here, so if somebody loosens this up, it doesn't go flying out and hurt you. So I either can cut all this away and screw it in, or I could just take these 4 bolts out and then put them in and put the bolts back in. So that's what I'm going to do.